know, right? All right. Well, very good, guys. Thank you guys for tuning in. This is the 7th broadcast of the FPV NoobTube Hump Day. What? I'm in a hotel, so we'll see how long it takes before people start banging on the door complaining, right? La Fridge, what's up? Oh, man. So I don't know about you guys, but I'm having a pretty good week. Not a bad week. I'll be honest with you, though. You know, I'm East Coast. I'm running in Delaware, in that area, and it has just been raining non-stop. It's killing me. So here and there, I get a break with a little bit of sun, or, you know, where the wind isn't trying to blow trees over, and I'm just out there hitting it, trying to get my fly on, you know? Man. So yeah, I hope all you guys out there in FPV land are doing well. Looks like, yeah, we got a bunch of you guys going on in chat now. Got Night Train FPV moderating, Plummet FPV moderating. Thanks, guys, for holding down the chat. MD95, good to see you, Chris. 616 Drones. Not sure if I remember you being in here before or not, but there's Dufour. John Coop, what's going on, guys? Thank you very much for joining in. So let me pull up. You know, I always run with kind of an outline just to keep myself straight. Otherwise, I'll forget to talk about certain things that I really want to bring up, you know? And the very first thing I want to bring up is a milestone for the FPV NoobTube. We have been working on breaking the 3,000 sub mark for a long, long time. And just this week, we broke 3,000 subs. So thank you all you guys who are subbing and looking in on the content. I know things have been a little bit slow the last couple months, but we really are making an effort to get out here and, you know, get active in the FPV community again and just interact with you guys, right? So no, that's a good sign because, you know, for a long time we were very much plateaued. It was just subs didn't really go up, didn't go down. It was just there, and they've been going up slowly, but it just lets us know that people are watching and that we're putting out stuff that they want to see, which, you know, that's mutually beneficial for everybody. So there's my list. So I'll tell you what, let's jump straight in. Well, and first I'll go ahead and address Icky is supposed to be joining us tonight. For you guys that know, that either tune into his channels or tune into any of his videos, you know, head on over to YouTube and look up the Ickyverse. And, you know, he states he's a firefighter, EMS, like emergency technician. I'm not sure what the classification truly is, but he is that guy that saves people's lives, saves them from themselves, from other people, you know. And so he had to run out on a call real quick. He's thinking it's going to be a routine medical. He'll come right back and jump on with us. My co-host, Charles Chuckett Hoover, usually on with me, helping to hold things down and tear things apart all at the same time. He's still at work. He can't get out of it. You guys know Chuck's a truck driver, so while he's on the road moving, he can't be distracted. You know, he's got to just get his scoot on, so he may pop on as well. He is tuned in right now. He's in chat with us. Make sure you don't get too distracted, big guy. We'd hate for something to happen. So keep your eyes open for now. I'm going to hold it down myself, and we may even have a little bit of fun with it. But something that, you know, has come up last time. Now, I couldn't be here 2 weeks ago for the last live stream, but I did help organize the content a little bit. And you guys, there's no way you can't be aware now of the stuff that's going on with what used to be Section 336 involving the FAA and what they call their, what do you want to call it? Oh my God. I'm having a complete brain fart. Anyway, it's the UAS hobbyist bylaws. And what has happened, the long and short is, because it's not even about domestic threats or foreign threats due to drones and unmanned aerial vehicles. Okay, we're going to say UAS for now on. It's more about the fact that now Walmart, Amazon, and a handful of other corporations that are really, really interested in getting their hands on that same airspace that we fly in. You know, that 400 feet to, now they're probably going to need more to be able to get over trees and bridges and stuff like that, but they want to make sure that we're not in their way as they get, you know, as they get more into these offerings that they can get in with drones and drone deliveries and whatever else it is that they're looking at doing. Anyway, part of what they're doing is kind of coming after us and saying that they want rights to that airway. And, you know, I guess when you're lobbying and you're throwing a lot of money at your politicians, it's easy to get things that you want. Now, luckily, as you know, Drew Camden's been appointed as president of Rotor Riot so that he can focus on running the company and its day-to-day business. Chad Kapper's obviously still there. He's the owner and proprietor of Rotor Riot, but he wanted to free himself up so that he could start lobbying for all of our rights and putting together a CBO, you know, an organization that oversees UASs, especially in the hobbyist arena. And they're calling it the FPV Freedom Coalition. So there's a Discord. You can definitely find the links in last week's live stream to the Discord. They have a Facebook group, and they are out there, and they are trying to get everybody as active as they can to go out and contact their politicians, blast emails, make phone calls, do what you need to do so this thing doesn't pass. And something you guys need to be aware of that's happened in just the last 2 weeks is this thing's already been through the House and been approved, and now it's at the Senate. So this is not a matter anymore of if this is going to happen. This is more a matter of when it's going to happen, but we have the ability to make sure that our rights and freedoms as hobbyist UAS pilots and FPV pilots remain intact. There are going to be some changes, and not everybody's going to like it, and there are going to be people that don't conform to it. But for those of us that do want to go to events and partake, like the Flight Fest events or future Rotor Riot rampages, who do any of your multi-GP races, we're going to end up needing to be licensed. We're going to end up needing to take some sort of piloting test or exam and have to not just obtain this licensing, but renew it periodically. And we may have to show it to law enforcement or event officials at any time asked. So these are some of the things that are coming, and there's a lot of documentation that's being summarized, so it's easy to consume and easy to understand for you guys. There's a lot of rules about flying below 400 feet and not within certain classifications of airspace, like too close to airports or whatnot. None of that stuff is changing. Even the flying with a spotter, you know, you're supposed to be flying with a spotter. I'm not saying all of us do, but I've heard some people say, you know, oh my God, how are we supposed to keep flying if we need a spotter? Well, dude, guess what? You were supposed to be flying with a spotter all along. So just make sure that you are keeping up to date. You'll find some links down in this week's live stream as well, involving basically the House of Representatives Bill 302 and all those things revolving around these laws that are going to be changing. And you guys need to keep abreast of it because this is not set in stone yet. This isn't done yet. So there's still adding things. There's still time to change things. There's still time for you to affect things. So get out there and make your voices known. Don't wait for somebody else to do it. If you love this and you believe in it and you want your rights and freedoms, then you need to get out there yourself and make it happen. Be a part of it. Don't be a bystander. So with that said, I'll get off that high horse. But it's just so important, and I want to make sure that you guys are staying as up to date as you can on it. Zoe FPV is always being active. Again, you get in the Discord for the FPV Freedom Coalition, you would be shocked how many people are in there and in what capacity they're working to protect our rights. It's not just a bunch of people sitting around complaining and saying, I do what I want. These people are doing things. You can be a part of it. All right. So, man, I got to come down off of that. That stuff just gets me fired up. I don't know about you guys, but I hate people telling me what I can and can't do, even though people do it all day, right? Thank you, Night Train and Plummet, for putting those links out there, man. You guys were just trying to keep it simple. Good stuff. Well, some neat stuff happened. Well, some not so neat stuff happened. Was it last weekend? The free fly? Oh my God, I'm losing my mind. So, you know, months ago, I went to my first multi-GP free fly. And for you guys who don't live in an area where you can partake in some of these multi-GP events, what it means is that usually an event coordinator, somebody who runs a multi-GP chapter, will take it upon themselves to like set up a track and just put the general field in play. And they'll invite anybody who wants to come. You know, usually, depending where you are, there may or may not be a requirement for AMA membership, but you know, that has to do with the insurance and being covered in case somebody gets hurt or something gets hurt, then, you know, you're not personally liable for the things that happen. Anyway, I went to mine a long time ago and it was eye-opening. Going to my first event was just eye-opening. And you know, as somebody who only flew by himself and only flew circles around trees and under gaps and bushes and stuff like that, it was really intimidating to think about going out there and putting myself out there with all these other people watching, like, you know, what if they're better than me? And I know they're going to be better than me. And what if I suck? And all these things, right? You know, just general anxiety. You don't want to be judged harshly or anything. But I went, I had a blast. And let me tell you, for you guys who haven't flown a track yet, you don't even have to officially do the laps, but just flying in the gates and around the flags, you learn so much in such little time about how your quad moves. And I know there's a couple eye rollers out there right now going, oh, I know how my quad moves and I know how to fly it. But you'd be surprised what you can learn in one day flying a track. Anyway, we're out there and it's a fun fly. So nobody's even running the track really. We had a few people, but it was mostly people out there doing loops and just running as fast as they can across the field. We had one guy show up with a wing who was running it around and did a little wing chasing. So keep your eyes open over my YouTube channel for that one. And we had some unfortunate stuff too, and some things that get overlooked quite frequently. So I'm going to go ahead and address a couple of those things right now. Now, when you start out in the hobby, if you're anything like me, you're cheap. And you're cheap with the intent of, I know I'm going to break it, I'm going to lose it, I'm going to something, so I don't want to spend a bunch of money on it, right? The problem is, and it's not that I'm advocating buying expensive hardware, but you have to buy hardware that works to a certain standard. And one of the major things, you better leave Eric alone. He has probably beat himself up enough over this, but I'll get there. But you know, Chris, so MD95 TSI there in chat, he didn't fly with us really because he had a video transmitter that he couldn't control the output on, and I'm not sure how well he was able to control the channel on. So, you know, when a VTX transmitter on your quad is broadcasting, it's broadcasting on a band, on a signal, at a certain power output. When you're flying with other people, you can't just be running around at 600 megahertz blasting your signal all over everybody's shit. You've got to be running 200 or under, depending how many people are in the air, and you got to be able to get on preferably a race band and on a specific channel so that you are able to fly with everybody else, and just as importantly, they're able to fly with you, right? Well, knowing he was not in a position to be able to do that reliably from some of our experiences prior, he made a good choice in that he just decided, I'm not putting it in the air. But I'll tell you, it really sucked. I watched him sit there and I know he wanted to get in the air with everybody. Everybody was having a blast, right? Yeah, so see, he couldn't change the power output. But you know, you don't realize how important this stuff is. Now, these video transmitters, you're spending 20, 25 bucks for it to come to your door. For another $5, you can get a TBS Unify Pro high volt. It outputs at 200 milliwatts. It's capped there, but I'm going to be honest, I'm not even going to get into it today. You really don't need more than that. But using smart audio, which is super easy to hook up, and if you've ever turned on turtle mode in beta flight, you can hook up smart audio. It's that simple. And then you can use your joystick, oh my God, you can use your transmitter and your goggles and set your band, your power, and your channel all through the OSD. So, I mean, being able to do stuff like that really easily is super important. And I hate to throw it out there, but guys, when you're splitting $5 or even $10, I'm not a firm believer in you get what you pay for, but sometimes you get what you pay for. And in this case, these are proven products by companies that have been producing these things for a long time. And, you know, TBS has been producing this VTX for well over 2 years. I dare say over 3, has been through multiple revisions, and they just keep getting better and better. So yeah, the first thing is having that VTX, right? Now, the second thing is more of a comfort thing. So I don't know about you guys, but I get out there, I've got a new build, and I can't just put myself into the mode of balls to the wall, send it, and see what happens, right? I have to earn trust. Me and this quad, we're in a relationship, right? Just like me and my wife. I didn't run up to my wife, club her over the head, drag her into a church and marry her. No, I had to date her. I had to feel her out. I had to see if I liked what I was interacting with and if it was going to work well with me, right? So my quads, I treat the same way. Hey, Kelly Paulson, how you doing? Keep in mind the chat is a little bit lagged behind the live stream, but got your number. Anyway, I always start out with short flights, and I got to kind of work my way to this and that until I'm comfortable with my build. And even though I'm running a couple builds that are the same cloned hardware, it's its own environment, you know, its own little ecosystem. So as I put them out there, they have to earn my trust. Well, we had an unfortunate event, and it wasn't even normally what you think of when you think of flyaway. What happened was, in this environment, and this is part of where the VTXs are really important too, a lot of those cheap VTXs, they say they output at a certain output power. A lot of times, they're not even hitting that output power. So you might think, or it's set to output at 200 milliwatts, it might only be outputting at 125. Then to add to the equation, they'll say that they're outputting on a certain band and channel, and they might be a few megahertz or, you know, I'll say a few notches off. And all this equals to, in both accounts, is that you're going to get less than ideal reception, right? So Eric, poor Eric, and I felt so bad for him. I was out walking around in this field. I wasn't the only one, just hoping that I heard or saw something and we could return his quad, but Tito Medina, guy in our area. You know, we have a few guys in our area that are a lot of fun. Hey, Herschel, how you doing, bro? Thanks for stopping in. And Tito brings his wing. So, you know, we got Kyle, who is Squatch FPV, and a few other people that'll show up with their wings too. Some of us are still getting to that point. And after listening to this thing just tear around the field, all I wanted to do was get in the air and do some chasing. And I wasn't the only one. At one point, we had a swarm of quads chasing this thing around. It just sounded like a pack of angry bees running circles around the field. So I'm trying my damnedest to go ahead and get this thing in the air. And I don't have to try. I mean, it was ready to go. But I'm trying to catch up to him and figure out his flight pattern, right? Because he's doing pretty consistent laps or a circuit around the field. Eric wanted some footage so bad. He just wanted to be a part of it. And he took a quad that was pretty new to him, not running the best hardware, not necessarily working the best from a video point of view. He gets the thing in the air, and his screen goes fuzzy. And then he made his second mistake. We're in a wide open field, guys. 25, 30 acres all around us, and it is overgrown to at least between 4 and 5 foot tall grass. And instead of hitting the switch and killing it, he thought, maybe if I get higher, the video signal will come back. Now, the problem with that lies in the way that video signals are transmitted. And I'll explain that here in a second. But long story short, instead of killing the switch, he shoots it into the air. This thing goes rocketing off into the sky and was never seen again. Now, it wasn't a true flyaway because it didn't just keep going. When he did kill it, it did fall. Because he was running FR Sky, which has native failsafe built into it, just the way all the hardware comes set up. It's not like Fly Sky where you got to go to some trouble to get it turned on. But we were not able to recover his quad, and we did spend a little while walking around looking. And then MD95 and a few other people went back and they scoured the area the next day as well in the rain, just seeing if they could turn something up. Part of the problem is when you have the goggles on and you're not 100% sure of your area, he wasn't even 100% sure of his orientation or his direction. So we were really pissing into the wind trying to get something done. So I didn't think of at the time trying to get on his band and, using my goggles as a quad finder, but with the thick brush that was there, I don't know that would have helped, but I didn't think to try until much later. And I know by then his battery was definitely dead. So for you guys that aren't sure how RF works, I don't have a balloon. I'm in a hotel right now. But I want you to think of an RF signal being transmitted like a balloon. Now, there's a lot of you guys that have this conception that there is a best antenna out there, that there's one antenna to rule them all. And there's not. There is not a ring, a ring of power that is better than all the rest. What there are different configurations of antennas that output different configurations of patterns and signals. So think about this like a balloon. Now, Eric, that balloon, no matter what you do, it only reaches to a certain point, right? It only gets to a certain size. He was thinking he could get over the problematic area and his quad would start transmitting again. The problem, his quad never quit transmitting. He already wasn't getting a signal, and then he went outside of the bubble, outside of the area of reception, so there was just no getting it back. But this works in play with the other types of antennas too. So, you'll get some antennas that reach a little further vertically, but because of that, just like a balloon, in order to get it to reach further in this plane, you got to kind of reduce this plane and squeeze that bubble out, or vice versa. But you don't get everything all at once, you don't get to have your cake and eat it too. So it's a common misconception. It's something I've put together by talking with Hugo over at True RC and a few people around the FPV Noob Tube. And I've been able to clarify for myself. I've had some great examples and some great teachers, but Gonzo, how you doing, brother? But yeah, it's just something that if you're not sure of, you need to keep in mind. Old Gravy Leg, thanks for stopping in, brother. How you doing? You guys missed the boring talk, but you can always rewind and catch it later. For you guys that were here when I was going over the House Bill 302 and the FAA Reauthorization stuff, Stymie here is heading up some portion of that. She has single-handedly spearheaded a whole facet of these activities and of this movement, trying to protect all of our rights. So you guys give her a huge hand, back her up, make sure you get over to the Discord or in the Facebook group, and if you can and you have something to offer, be it time, knowledge, expertise of some sort, maybe you're some sort of technical writer, go ahead and get yourself to work. Old Stymie there, she doesn't even fly yet that I'm aware of, but we'll need to fix that sooner than later. I'm sure Gonzo's already working on her. But yes, many props to her. Old Gravy Leg, super active in the community. He's one of those guys that knows people who, we like that he knows us too, because through him, maybe we can get a little outreach here and there as well. So, but yeah, the whole takeaway from the hardware guys was have quality hardware. Now, certain things, like if you want to buy cheap motors, you're only affecting yourself. And there are some really good inexpensive motors out there, and then there's good cheap motors, and then it's just trash, right? But motors are motors. Props, fly what you like. But when you're dealing with things, FPV, it's all about your eyes, man. You gotta have good goggles, not necessarily Fat Shark, but good, comfortable goggles that have a good receiver. You gotta have a good, solid transmitter. If you don't have those things, guys, you don't have a flying quad. So make sure you get on that and make sure you take care of that. Holy boy, I get to talking and I just keep on going. I can't help myself. Oh man, you know what else has got me all stirred up inside? So something I started last year, right? We all know what that is. That's a tiny whoop, right? So I got a hold of this thing. I bought one used and it was kind of trashed up, but I got a deal on it, so it wasn't a big deal. Needed a little work, but I just needed something as a foundation, right? So I'm a guy that, I'm a guy that needs to see the platform one time and just kind of take in how it works and how it's put together so that it makes sense to me. Well, I got a hold of this thing. I'm doing a bunch of reading, right? And everybody's saying, run your whoop in stabilized mode and run it this way and use this kind of props. And man, I flew it probably less than 20 times and I was just not impressed. But you know, I kept watching those videos out there, right? Some of these whoop pilots like Blue Jay and Gel someone, right? These guys are freestyle whoop pilots and they are flying these things pretty impressively. And what I mean by that, for anybody who's ever flown a whoop, put it in acro mode and notice that they don't fly anything like a 5-inch. These guys are flying them not like 5 inches, but they're flying them and pulling off some maneuvers that are pretty impressive. So I know it can be done, right? I just can't figure out what I'm missing. And so I get hooked up with a guy, not like that, but I find a guy who's, you know, yeah, JBFPV, he's one of them. And then Gel, someone, I'm terrible with the names. Anyway, these guys, I get hooked up with one of them and he's telling me, bro, if you want to fly this thing like this, the first thing you got to do is get the PIDs right. And I'm like, well, that's great, but I spent some time trying to get this thing tuned and I can't figure it out for the life of me. And he says, everything in whoops is 2 or 3 times as high as it is in a 5-inch. So your P's are really high, your I's are high, your D's are high, everything is high to get it close. So he says, here, try this. And explains to me that for tiny whoops, you know, they're not like 5-inchers. If you go around and you start asking people for their PID tune on a 5-inch quad, they laugh at you because they know that you obviously have no idea what you're talking about because every quad is weighted differently, has different hardware, has different power, and you can't just, PIDs are not interchangeable, right? Well, on these tiny whoops, PIDs are pretty interchangeable because a 7x17 motor is a 17x17 brushed motor, or, you know, a 4-blade Raycon heli prop is a 4-blade prop. So he says, go ahead and put this on there, stick it in acro, and try it out. And just a couple weeks ago, I had that experience, and holy crap, I have never had so much fun flying a whoop, especially after being turned off to them last year because of my experiences. And now I'm kind of hooked, right? Now, the thing with whoops is you have the 60mm class, right? Flying the 31mm props. Then you have the the 65mm. Then you have the 75mm class, and you get up into 80mm, you know, where the diagonal's getting bigger. Now, I'm not convinced that a 65 is ever going to fly as well as a larger quad, even in a brushed setup, right? But, and now we've gotten to see this. So for you guys that don't know about it, betafpv is putting out some brushless whoops, a 65mm and a 75mm that they have actually been working with pilots on, not just building something and sending it to them for opinions. They actually found somebody who was putting together an impressive set of hardware in the way that it flew, went to him and said, would you mind working with us so we can bring something to the masses? And this guy's name is Mr. Shutterbug, all right? Mr. Shutterbug has, that's his YouTube name and his FPV handle and everything else. He's got some videos floating around now. Now other people have gotten a hold of him, of a Beta 75X, which is a brushless 75mm whoop class, and this thing flies incredibly. Now, if you guys have ever seen the Snapper fly or any of those other things in that area, the brushless quads, brushless whoops, you know, they do fly differently and in some ways more stable and they have more power than the brushed motors, but inherently they're always going to have certain problems just because of the size of this thing. The way they have this 75 running, they've almost gotten rid of washout, which is, you know, anybody who's flown a whoop, you try to do a flip or a roll, when you come out of it, the thing just kind of falls uncontrollably and maybe even yaws in one direction. They've almost gotten rid of it in that class. They can't do it in the 65. It's just not big enough. It's a problem with the size and the way the air flows. But man, that's just so exciting to me. I'm doing everything I can because right now is not a great time for me just to throw, you know, 100, 150 bucks out there to buy something. Doing everything in my power to not throw down on one of these, because come this winter, I don't want to be like I was last winter going, boy, it would sure be nice if I could fly. Man. Oh boy, I have no idea what I'm missing here in chat. Hula hoops, face punches, and zeros. Whew. So, let me see. I don't see any indication of other people hopping on anytime soon. So, looks like I'm holding this thing down myself. So, let's have some fun. I'm going to throw out there into chat. I'm going to throw out there at you guys. If there's any of you that have a webcam that's ready to roll and you want to get on, let me know. We're going to pull a couple of these other guys in if they're ready. If you guys are, send me a message on Facebook. I'll send you the invite. You can hop on and we'll chat about some additional items. I'm not out of stuff, but you know, this is something I've kind of wanted to do for a while, is just kind of open it up to a few people, get some of you noob tubers in here and have a good time. So on Facebook, I'm Josh Withrow. If you're going to send a message to YouTube, you're going to have to use the FPV noob tube. So I'll keep my eye out for that stuff. But yeah, these whoops guys, you guys don't realize they will make you a better pilot, even on larger quads, because the things that you can get away with. Chuck doesn't want to lose his spot. Give me a few minutes. The things that you can get away with a more powerful quad, you can't get away with a whoop. But if you take a whoop and figure out how to fly it well, and you take those same concepts and bring them over to the larger quads, you'll notice that you're a much better pilot. You're getting rid of prop wash and things that people are always trying to tune out, right? Man, you guys donating money, I don't even know what to do with or say about this. Thank you so much. You know, one of the things we're going to have to do, we're going to have to take these and start, you know, just getting some hardware, nothing that we're going to use ourselves, and doing some giveaways on the FPV Noob Tube. Maybe doing some Hump Day giveaways, you know. I'll get with Aaron on that, get with Icky, since really this is his beast. And man, we'll just spice this thing up a little bit, okay? Speaking of giveaways, for you guys that are here, you get a little forewarning. Over on my YouTube channel on Josh Withrow, I'm doing my first giveaway. Now, you guys that have ever listened to me know that I'm like, I'm not buying shit to give away to other people out of my pocket. I don't pay people to come sub me, right? But long story short, I was on Ready Made RC's live stream a few Fridays ago, and I won one of their prizes, and it's not something I'm going to use. So what we have here, it's not up on my YouTube yet, but it will be later tonight, is a single piece earbud like Steel uses or some of those other pilots use. Now me, I'm not interested in this. I've had audio before. I don't really care for it. I prefer to fly without it. We're going to be doing a giveaway. In order to qualify, you got to sub my channel, you got to like that video, and you got to leave a comment. Duplicate comments will be banned and will disqualify you from the giveaway. So again, keep your eye out for that. It's already uploaded, but I got to do some touch-ups to some other things, so it'll be coming online shortly after the live stream tonight. I just got a message. Oh, so things are not going as well as Aaron had hoped, and this is taking longer than he anticipated. So give me 1 second. I'm going to let him know that we're just going to hold this down. I was really hoping to get Aaron on here, though. So you guys that follow the Ickyverse, he had an opportunity that was super exciting. And I mean, when I say opportunity, I mean in every sense of the word. You know, this is a guy that's been flying FPV that's doing some really sick edits, right? Especially when you get into transitions and just cinematography and even videography. And he's really making a lot of headway in the scene. He's even getting criticism behind the scenes from like Chad Capper and Drew Camden and some of these bigger people. Nurk has been in love with this guy since he started, right? Since Aaron started. Because he's always kind of had a knack for it. Eric, at his core, in his heart, is an artist, right? And he found a venue that truly allowed him to express himself, and that was FPV. And then he kind of grew it out from there and said, you know, well, I can do other stuff with this, not just flight videos or just videos relating around FPV. So Aaron got to go host DR1 on their European tour. So they did a series of races with some of the world's top racers through different parts of Europe, and Aaron was hosting the show. He was doing pilot interviews, doing kind of like showings of the landscape. So in some of the castles, he's doing fly-throughs and showing all the guests for the televised portion the racetrack and the environment in general. And then, of course, during their downtime, swimming and boating and doing downhill karting and some of the things that they do in between the races, you know, he got to partake in all that stuff too. So an entire month on the road with these guys, doing their things and getting paid for it for his services. So when you put all that stuff together, I mean, this guy just had a life-altering experience and opportunity, and I really was looking forward to having him here to kind of share some of that stuff with us. But he put a video up over on the Ickyverse, going over some of the things he's going to be showing. You can see a preview at least of some of the things he did. And man, I can't wait for him to get through all this footage he put up. I am just beside myself waiting. None of you jokers want to be in the live stream, huh? I see how it is. You don't make me do this alone. It's all right, I got this. All right. Yeah, so DR1 is kind of like DRL, but not. In that, yeah, you guys will look it up. I mean, the website is dr1racing.tv. You can get an idea where all this stuff's going with the different seasons, catch up on last seasons, and I don't know if they've started airing this season yet. I want to say they haven't. But man, he even got to use some cool hardware. So of course he took his camera. He's got a real nice camera and mic set up, and I think they had him set up with what he was calling like a Twitch pack or something. It's like a backpack for Twitch TV that's all encased and encompassing. So, oh, all right. I got some people coming in. Let me get the invites. Here we go. Look, I sent yours to your email, homie. Or Chuck has this really weird email address. I'm one of those guys that likes, you know, like my name at asimpleThing.com, whereas the rest of you guys are like Fuzzy Bunny Slippers, Horsecock, Blue Vein 6969. I love you long time. How can anybody remember that shit? Y'all need to get some real email addresses. Like for real. All right. So we'll give these guys a chance to get in here. We'll get them in on things and talking about some stuff going on. Oh, Gonzo read my mind. Who is going to Rampage? Anybody here? I really wanted to go to Rampage, but, you know, family first, right? So every now and then you have stuff going on. Can't leave everybody behind. For me, that's compounded by the fact that I travel for work. So every week I'm somewhere. So for me to travel for work and then be out on the weekends too and not home, it starts to add up, and I can't do that to my wife and kids. They do love me a little bit, so. All right, looks like we got us some old gravy leg coming in. Holy shit, no pun intended. As long as he doesn't go all gravy on the stream.
No, I'm just trying to get my.
Do you guys know what gravy leg is? Like, did you ever look that up in Urban Dictionary? You think the name is weird? Go look it up in Urban Dictionary. Enough said. Ugh.
All right, can you hear me at all?
Garage life, absolutely. You know, tell you what, if you're able, bud, go ahead and jump on here too, and we will take a look with you if you can. What's going on, Matt?
Going on, trying to get my mic working.
All right, we're a bunch of doobers. We can't figure this out. No, I'm just kidding. Let me see what's going on here in the control room. Nope, you're not muted or anything, so you should be working. Oh, hold on. Haha. You know what happened? I had my speakers off. Oh, man. So it's not you, it's me. It's the old one-liner.
All right, how about now?
Yeah, you're good.
All right, cool.
I had my speakers off.
Hey, that kind of things happen.
Yeah, it's cleaner. What's up?
I'm just going to grab a drink real quick. I just wanted to jump in, make sure nothing was going to eat shit.
Yeah, no problem.
I got Premiere exporting a 4K video, so I'm like, I don't know if I should open up all these other programs or not.
It looks good, so roll with it.
Oh, cool. All right, I'll be right back.
Yeah, sure thing. Garage FPV. If you can find me on Facebook, my name is Josh Withrow. Chuck, see that? He's going to come on after the fact. Mind you, I sent him an invite. It's in his email or somewhere. He's going to make me go and look up this email address again because Hangouts never saves it. The good thing you guys can't see the stuff coming up in this chat feed. Or maybe you guys would appreciate it, but.
What are we appreciating?
So I was just complaining. Chuck's going, send me an invite. And I'm like, dude, I sent you an invite earlier, and now he's making me look through, because he's one of these guys with an email address like, you know, Fuzzy Bunny Slipper, Kung Fu, Charlie 1986, and I can never remember it.
Yeah, that I mean, mine's easy. It's Big Nats 8008, and I'm like, all right, cool. It just kind of stayed there. You can tell I always run with like the most effed up names for all my stuff.
Yes, it's a nice trend. I kind of like it. I was just telling these guys while you were still getting connected to go on Urban Dictionary and look up the gravy leg.
It's funny too, because like on the shit show when we had Chad Nowak on, he was like, I've always wondered, do you shit your pants, and how many times a day do you get asked that? I'm like, never. It's a joke. That's the whole thing, is it's a joke. And he just went on like a whole tangent about it. It was fucking hilarious.
Yeah. It's something I had to look up when I first saw you. I'm like, what the hell is gravy like? But I knew it had to be something not good.
No. If somebody ever has gravy leg that's not me, it's probably bad.
Yeah, no shit.
Well, that's debatable, I guess. Oh man. Yeah. So what else do you want to talk about? Like, dude, I heard the thing about you were like bummed out on Whoops last year. Let's get you to not be bummed out on him this year.
Well, so what happened? There it is. What happened was, a whoop flies nothing like a larger drone, even a 2-inch or a 3-inch, right? And so I had people telling me, well, they're just not going to fly like a 5-inch. And I'm like, guys, I don't expect them to fly like a 5-inch, but I can't even spin this thing in a circle without it doing, the washout where it just kind of loses itself and tumbles.
Yep.
And so anyway, I just kind of threw in the towel at the time because I don't like flying stabilized. It has nothing to do with even ego. It's just where I'm comfortable. I feel like when I have to hold that stick in that spot, it's just not comfortable.
You should totally look into an Alien Whoop Zero.
I bought 2 of them.
Hell yeah, dude! You will not be disappointed. The only thing, I'm sure you're aware of it, they run best in acro mode. They do have a couple of modes. One of them is angle mode on pitch, and then acro mode on yaw, and then on the other side of it, it's angle mode on. I'm sorry, not yaw. It's angle mode on pitch and acro mode on roll, and then there's another one that's flipped too, and you set it up with all stick commands. It's awesome.
Yeah, so what I'm probably going to do for starters, at least, is just throw Betaflight 3.5 on there because I'm comfortable with it. And I might take the other one and put NFE silverware on there.
They all come with silverware. They all come with NFE. Yeah, there's not even a USB hub on it. Like, it's ready to go. You just put in the commands to the modes that you want in your transmitter, and you go out and rip. Pre-tuned. I mean, like, remember probably like a year ago when you were having issues with it. Remember how they used to be like the ass wiggle? You'd get going so fast, and it would start dude, these things, no shit, like you can fly them like it feels like flying a 5-inch, and you have to tell yourself that you're flying a whoop still. The first time I flew one, it was just, I was like trying to overcorrect like it was a whoop and all this stuff, and I just kept gaining altitude and overshooting stuff. It was tough, but man.
What size motors?
I'm flying the Awesome Sauce, the 20,500 kV 0615s. Like
okay,
nothing's 6mm, nothing special. I mean, it cooks.
Huh. Well, that's good then, because I kind of moved up. You know, the second one I put together, I've been much happier with. I went with 7mm motors, 0716s. I got myself some of the 4-blade props, which I know they're a little heavier, take a little bit more to spin up. But I've just been experimenting. I'm kind of over the 3 blades. They're like not good at anything. And then I think I even bought some bi-blades, and I'm going to give those a shot. And apparently what people are saying is the bi-blades are better for acro because they spin up better.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I've never noticed the difference. I like just the Eachine black props, and I like the TBS props. The ones that just came out. Like, that's really about it. Like, you can easily get like a 20-grand build and just go out and beat the bag out of it, and it's awesome. They're so much fun.
Yeah, and that's the other thing I'm working on, because, you know, I've gone through and like weighed all the different components. Like, I know how many grams the canopy's coming in at, and I don't know how I'm going to get any more weight off of this, because my canopy weighs 0.5 gram. So I would rather have the protection than not. There's just nothing I can take out of this.
Well, you just got a dirty quad.
Yep.
What's up, old gravy?
What's going on, man?
None, man. Josh, you're complete. I'm here.
Finally, after I'm sitting here jabbering my head off, droning everybody to death.
Right? I know you were like practically stuttering without me. But hey, I was off for a little while trying to get everything hooked up with Hangouts. But on those brushless whoops, you were talking about that new one? Now I know that new one, that beta, was it 75 X75?
Yep.
That's actually got an F4 in it, which interests me a lot.
I'll be honest, I've been flying all F3s, and for what we're doing here, because there's not a ton of stuff in play, the F3 is more than enough. So it really has nothing to do with the F4, F3. It has a lot more to do with the hardware that they're putting together on there, and the fact that it's 2S. Well,
that being said, what do you think about that one on Banggood? It's like, I forget the acronym, but it's the 65 with the brushless, the 0607 15,000s on them.
Well, so like you have the snappers and the things like that, which are all in that same class range. And I've even gotten to fly the snapper because E-Drone's got one. And I'll be honest, they are definitely more stable and they definitely have more power than the brushed motors, but they're still not quite there. When you watch the videos, bro, look up Mr. Shutterbug and look at the way that Beta 75X flies. No other whoop out there that I've seen that's being mass produced flies anything like that.
Well, one thing caught my eye about that, because I've been looking at both of them, because I've been thinking about getting one myself, and I definitely think I want to go brushless because I think that's just the way of the future here. But one thing, you can adjust the camera angle on the 65, that Banggood one, and I've heard it flies great.
I've never flown one. I've never flown a brushless whoop. I've been hooked on the alien whoop stuff for over a year and a half.
Well, I was just curious what you thought about that, Josh.
Well, and so that's what I was telling Matt is, you know, I started out with the brushed whoops last year, and I was very much just turned off by them because of the experiences I was having. And I didn't expect them to fly like a larger quad, but I expected them to be more stable than they were. And I was frustrated because I was watching other people fly these things, but I wasn't getting a lot of good information or anything that was making good sense to me. You know, maybe it was language barrier. Oh, blah, blah. Anyway. I've been talking to a guy for the past 6 weeks. He gave me a PID tune and explained some things to me going on with the whoop that I've employed with this. Everything from the fact of getting a proper PID tune for a whoop down to how much of a big deal even 1 gram of weight is. And it's really changed the way that this thing flies. And now it's got my attention. And so this winter, my whole thing was, I don't want to be sitting inside again going, boy, I wish I could fly. I want to have an indoor setup ready to roll.
So with that being said, and the new hotness with the X75 coming out, are you going to go brushless?
Eventually, but I just got 2 brushed Alien Whoop Zero boards for some of these. And so I'm going to play with a couple different things on those. And, you know, I don't get in a big hurry trying to jump on all the hype train stuff. And part of that is just budget with some things I have going on right now. But
choo-choo.
Yeah, and watch everything else catch on fire and listen to people bitch and moan about it, right?
I'll tell you what, I want to see a reaction video the first time you fly the Zero.
Okay.
That would be cool. That would be cool.
Yep. I'll do that. I'll get it set up, and then I'll set the camera up, because everybody keeps telling me it's that much different. And so I'm even just going to leave NFE on it.
All I know is what caught my attention for whoops is when I saw your favorite pilot, Ladrib, do a Matty inside his homeboy's apartment with his whoop.
Yep. And so weight is my next big thing that I'm going to have to really get control of. And I guess I'm just going to have to come to grips with either parting ways with certain things that I'm not comfortable with and just deal with it. The fact that these things are a lot lighter, they don't need as much protection. I get that. And then parts of it are probably like figuring out which frames are the lightest and which props are the lightest, and just doing everything to shave every gram off that I can.
No, I was actually thinking of going the opposite direction, as I usually do, because I still have that old, what is it, Flyby made that battle axe frame a while back for the brushless motors.
Mm-hmm.
And I was thinking, I've had that thing sitting forever. I could just buy some motors and a board and have at it.
Mm-hmm.
But then again, that is supposed to be a 1S. It's carbon fiber, so you know it's heavier.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
And that's kind of where I'm at with where things have gone. Why bother? I mean, 1S for a brushed whoop, sure, I get it. I mean, we've already got proven hardware and frames and everything there. Why go backwards for a brushless if you're going to go that route? You got betafpv putting out light frames with powerful motors on a 2S platform.
Yeah, and it doesn't cost that much more to get those pre-made.
No, and in this case, the last piece that they're working on is trying to get a really good tune to put on all of them before they fully open up production and sales, is the way I understand it. So, because they want to send these things out ready to just hammer the market, ready to roll.
Maybe I should wait then.
Telling you, bro, I am exercising some serious willpower and self-control.
You want that X75, don't you? Practice your willpower, bro. You'll probably be happier in the end.
I've not had anything catch my eye in a long time. I see all this stuff, and it doesn't excite me. I watched the first video ever of that 75X and was like this in my chair. Oh, man.
You don't get to see me chain smoke the whole time now.
You just blowing big clouds like a dragon now? Not so much.
Nah, I don't go for them. I don't go for that deep throat drag.
Oh, you don't want to be a cloud chaser?
Yeah, I got my setup right here. I'm on the opposite end. If I'm not like inhaling a ton of friggin' vape cloud or whatever, then like if I can't feel it in my lungs, it's like I might as well just smoke a butt.
Well, I don't like the heat, the high heat of them. But it's funny, when I got this at the vape store, they're like, "Oh, so you're a nicotine chaser?" I'm like, "Well, yeah."
Like that's kind of the point.
I just want to smoke less.
Exactly. I got them both sitting right hand next to me. It's like, well, which one's closer?
Right.
It works out.
So you probably ran through all your topics already, huh, Josh?
I ran through quite a bit. I was kind of the last thing that I was touching on other than the whoop stuff. Because I'm sure you guys were following Icky and while he was over in Europe. And, I was hoping to see more than I did. But honestly, I saw more than I expected to. So, if you make any sense of that, I hoped that he would have an opportunity to put more out there. But I didn't expect to see even what he did put out there, even to us personally. And so now to hear that he's come back and, he's got this laptop full of footage and all these experiences he's had on top of the reason he was there for the gig, like, man, I'm ready to see this stuff. I was really hoping to be able to talk to him tonight, but he sent me a message, and his call that he was hoping was short and sweet was not so short and sweet. So,
well, he's got to do it. Friggin', it wasn't something like a terabyte or something of footage he had.
I thought he said 800 gigabytes.
Damn.
Close enough. Shit. He must have had the camera on constantly the whole freaking trip.
Well, and him. He was shooting in 4K everything.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's true.
Because I know when I was chatting with him when he was dropping some stuff in, our super secret NoobTube channel.
Not so roundtable.
Right.
Or what is it called now?
He wasn't getting to shoot nearly as much stuff personally that he wanted to, just because of his obligations and the amount of time it was taking.
Yeah. The cult of Icky's nuts. That's what it was.
We've changed it a few times.
I admit that was me.
Once he went big and Capper got a hold of him and Rotor Riot sponsored him, we all were hanging off his nutsack for a little while.
That's great. The cult of Icky's nuts.
Oh, man.
That's glorious.
Stymie has to let Gonzo buy whatever he wants whenever he wants when it comes to quads. It's either
That's
that
right.
or booze and hookers, and you don't want to fund the booze and hookers because that also leads to ointment and rashes.
And she's a good woman.
I'd say so. Chuck, so I know Old Gravy has been in the Discord for the FPV Freedom Coalition, and he's seen a lot of stuff that they have going on over there. Have you been able to spend any time there, Chuck?
I'm old, and I think Discord is foreign and scary.
You're old.
Yeah, so I'm old. I just been traveling on the Facebook circuit, really, and listening to whatever thing they put out on YouTube.
Well, for us old people, they have a Facebook channel too, but I already threw Stymie under the bus or in the spotlight or any combination of those things and told everybody that, she actually has a role in the FPV Freedom Coalition, not as some background person. She is spearheading some segment of everything they're doing. So, for a lady that doesn't even fly, like, it's time to get some toe licking. That's right.
I actually the other day I was actually talking with Capper. I'm still surprised to this day that he actually talks to me, but he does talk to me every once in a while. And I told him straight up, hey, if you ever anything the FPV NoobTube can do, we're at your service. He never got back to me after that, but I didn't really expect him to get back to me in the first place.
Well, like I threw out there, I was in the Discord because, here and then when I'm at work or on planes, I get chances to just kind of be a part of whatever's happening. I threw out there that I'm not in a place to spearhead and drive something myself, but if somebody needed help, just ask me, tell me what you need me to do, and I'll do it. And the answers that I got, which were fair, were, no, we need self-starters who can just see an opportunity and just grasp it and run. So I figured then, knowing that, I put it out there, fair response. The biggest thing I can do and the biggest thing the FPV NoobTube can do and the biggest thing any of us can do is to be active and make sure that we're keeping everybody else in the loop with what's going on.
Yeah, so far I've basically just been trying to keep my eye out for simplified explanations so, the layman could get what's going on and then sharing it on our NoobTube group.
Yeah, and I've tried to keep that stuff running as far as finding the simple stuff.
Yeah.
I'm not going to just spoon feed, so I'll find something simple, give people the link, and let them feed themselves. Because if you got to be spoon fed, you're not that interested.
Yeah, there is definitely a lot on Discord. Discord's more or less it's just a chat channel. Like, I mean, people post pictures also and videos, whatever. It's definitely something good to get into because, like 507 said, there's way more stuff in the Discord as far as like the meat and potatoes of what's going on. That's in like the Discord, and there's a bunch of different channels. It's pretty easy. You can get it on your phone. I hate to admit it, but I had to, like, I stepped away for a couple of weeks and I kind of left the channel just because I was getting hot-headed, and everybody's getting pissed off about what's going on. We're all getting fucked. This is what it comes down to. And I was getting way too fired up over it. I kind of took a little hiatus away from like everything FPV for a couple of weeks. And I come back now and it's like, man, like there's so much going on. This sucks.
Yeah, none of it's on the good side either.
No, well, I feel like some of it is like the fact that they're actually acknowledging that you can fly FPV and have a spotter, like that's awesome. Because before it was like, no, you have to have like you have to have line of sight connection with it. So that way, no matter what you're flying, if you're looking down at the camera for something that's like AP drone based, like a Phantom, something like that, or if you have goggles on, you can't see the thing with your eyes. So it's you're missing out on. I mean, pretty much everybody's going to be flying line of sight, and people are going to be getting more hurt than they are now, which is
right.
they're not at all. And another thing that I was talking about last night with the UFDA crew guys, and I kind of made a joke about it, but I woke up thinking about it again. Is I want to do like a hashtag, like a hashtag campaign or something that's like hashtag nobody got hurt or something in all my videos, like because nobody's ever gotten hurt in any of my videos, like, not even me somehow. So if everybody started putting those videos up, it's like, well, here are the fucking videos. Nobody got hurt. Yeah, we might have dove a 300-story building. Nobody got hurt. So what's the worry? Is like this all stemmed from people looking in their neighbor's fucking bathroom or bedroom window and watching them like take a leak. And now it's like we're racing quads that you can barely even hover in place and see anything except the moon. And now it's all of a sudden everybody's getting screwed. It sucks.
Yeah, if I hover, I'm staring into the sun. It ain't good.
Mm-hmm.
The thing is, this stuff was inevitable because there's been a big push to grow the hobby because of the life cycle, right? The more people you get interested, the more advancement you get with the technology. But in order to drive the technology at a good price point, you have to be able to sell so much of it. So you get more people involved. It's only going to go so far before you get rules in place, even right down to the ones like, you know, having to ride a helmet when you ride a bicycle, right? Or having to wear a bicycle. That's the equivalent of what they're doing now. The big thing they're trying to keep in check is to make sure that the commercial entities don't get to completely stomp all over the hobbyist. We don't want to be told that we can only fly at CBO fields in open fields and settings with a CBO officer present. We want to have the freedom to fly in other classes of airspace as long as we're following the rules. But in order to do that, things do have to get more proper. Now, I know I don't like regulations any more than the next person, but I see the need for some amount of it. Because we already have asshats doing dumb shit at every turn, going, no victim, no crime.
Right.
Well, the only thing I was really freaking thinking about, and I only heard you say part of it because I was driving, but you were saying that we were actually going to have to get licensed. Now,
so they're going to bring back the quad registration. So each of your quads needs its own serial number. Not a big deal if you really think about it. If you want to have things to complain about, then you know you're going to complain. But they're trying to make it to where you must obtain a UAS pilot certification. And basically, it doesn't revolve around ability to fly fat power loops. It revolves around your ability to state that you understand the rules.
Well, that's the thing is, how long is this hobby or this facet of the hobby? Like I've been in the hobby for 33 years I've been doing things RC related. This was never a fucking issue until the community became unable to police itself. And now if you try to police the community, depending on where you do it, you're an asshole and everybody just tears you apart. And that's the beauty of Facebook. And now it's really kind of, it's really ruining us at this point.
Well, it is, but you have people, so like Trappy, right? Let's take this back to one of the people that's always been a little bit more in the spotlight, like the Noacs and the Trappies and those guys, right? Who were really spearheading this very early on. Even Sharpoo, right? Now, some of these guys were flying more urban places, over people, over traffic, this and that. But there was a time where you get away with it. Let's not even talk common sense, right and wrong. There's a time you could get away with it. But the more other people see it, the more other people want to do it, the more it becomes noticeable, and then the more you have to keep it in check. It is what it is. So the same people that are running around complaining and stating that they're not going to follow rules because...
Hello?
Why does he drop out at the best, like the worst times?
Videos trying to get internet fame, and they're just doing it to be giant attention whores.
Right.
I'm an attention whore.
I mean, like with me, even today's a great example. I wanted to get out. I wanted to fly. So I've been flying at the cemetery up the road from my house. I fly like right when the sun's going down, so nobody's there. I fly when it's shitty weather out like today. Yeah, but I show up there at like 5:30. Not a soul in the place. Like, oh, geez, that was terrible. Okay, nobody was walking their fucking dog. Let's put it that way. So I fly one pack. I take my goggles off after I land, and there's like 6 clusters of people walking dogs. It's like, what the fuck happened? Like, what just happened? So I packed my stuff up and I left. And as I'm doing that, people are like, oh, what are you doing over here? And I'm like, oh, I come down here and I fly when there's nobody around because it's a beautiful spot and I have family here and, I'm entitled to do that just like you are to walk your dog. And they're like, oh, what are you flying? Because they couldn't see it. And I'm like, oh, it's on my backpack. I turn around and they're like, what is that thing? I'm like, oh, it's a drone. And they go, oh, okay, well, good thing that you packed that thing. It's like, well, what if I was flying like a 700 class helicopter or a 200-mile-an-hour wing just ripping around the place? Like, then you wouldn't have cared, but because the name drone, it's like, yeah, all right, well, this guy's an asshole.
It's not the guys that are flying over traffic and causing car accidents and trying to get in plane engines that are the assholes. It's the people telling them that they shouldn't be doing it.
Right. I was kind of thinking about that the other day because, and I think I just put the video out on my channel, plug. And I was flying a rest stop, which I do frequently. They're pretty cool spots because if people do show up, they leave pretty quickly. It's just the nature of the place. But every time I'd go around, I'd end up flying over the on-ramp road just because that's just was the path. And every time I did, I thought about it. I'm like, crap, some car's just going to drive under me and call the cops or something because I'm freaking playing with my toy in the park.
Exactly. Like growing up, I used to fly. The first flying field I was ever at was next to a state mental institution. And it's like, okay, that was absolutely fine in '85. But today, you can't even fly in a park that there's nobody in because somebody will appear and bitch. And it's kind of like, well, that's where there needs to be don't fly over a road. I've flown over roads. Don't do this. Yeah, I've probably done that. But it's like there's a line of what is okay and what's not okay. And then some people are just they're making that line move way closer to infringement of our hobby than they are to benefiting our hobby.
Well, unfortunately, so far we're not the ones who have been deciding where that line is drawn.
Yeah,
and that's the problem with all this.
Correct.
And I don't know if this is something too, like I'm an avid shooter, like I love firearms, stuff like that too, and this is the same thing. This literally is the same thing. You have no representation or improper representation, and then everybody just gets fucked by the blanket clause. And that's what's happening with it. That's the same thing's going to happen. It's like I live in a state where I can get a license and get a fully automatic rifle, but then again, they don't trust me with a pistol that holds more, or anything that holds more than 10 rounds. It's like, if you trust me with 10 rounds, why can't you trust me with more? You shouldn't trust me with, it's either all or nothing. It's like either it's all okay or it's not okay. If I pass all the background checks and prove I'm a competent person, just like with this, if I prove that I can fly and I'm not going to go out and be a piece of shit, and I'm not going to like go out and fly outside of my skill level and like pile drive into traffic. Okay, well, I proved my worth, and I should be able to be left the hell alone and go out and fly. Same thing with guns. It's like, if I can have one round and you trust me with that, you should be able to trust me with whatever I feel is sufficient, depending on what I'm doing at the time. The laws they're gonna fall in place just the same that they are with the firearm regulation, and it's sad to see that happening to another really good a really good hobby of mine, something I really enjoy.
Yep.
Yeah,
So
it's kind of died off for me too. I mean, I've got a closet full of guns. I've got boxes full of ammo, and I haven't been shooting in over a year because it's just getting impossible. Now, I live in Delaware, which is a blue state. You know, it is Democrat operated, but for a blue state, we have a lot of conservative values. The problem here is the amount of people that live here. There's not many open spaces, and the places where there are open spaces, you're always bothering someone.
Right. Exactly. It's noise ordinance, so you can't find. You guys have like the 500 foot rule and all that crap.
Yep. But we also, this is a state where it is illegal to buy, own, or sell suppressors. So whereas you could be helping your case,
yep,
some jackass out there now has this rule that you can't do anything to help your neighbors.
Hey, they make really nice ones over here in Wisconsin.
No, it's the same here. It's like, again, you can buy a short barrel rifle, a short barrel shotgun, and any other weapon. Like, you can do whatever the hell you want except own a suppressor in the state. So why? You can't do it quietly? Like, I mean, you have to fill out all the stuff for an NFA tax stamp. Not to totally derail this and get this on like the gun debate, but it really does correlate to what we as pilots are dealing with, and it sucks.
Mm-hmm. Well, things are being dictated to us by people that don't even appreciate what it is. You have people that don't do it, wanting to make the rules for it. They don't understand it, and that's where the conflict really comes in more than anything.
No, and I've been through this before. And yeah, I'm a broken record. Late 1980s, early 1990s, skateboarding was a crime.
Yep, same thing with BMX. Like,
and you know what we all did? We went underground.
Mm-hmm.
So I got a question for everybody. Are you willing to not post videos and still fly?
Of course. Yeah. I am. Believe it or not, I mean, I like this social interaction, right? And this is one thing that until recently I didn't have much of in my area. As many people that live there, it also has this weird cutoff from the rest of the world, right? And being a small community that FPV is anyway, I couldn't find anybody. Well, now we've probably got a group of 20 to 30 people that we can get with anytime. I don't have the same push that I feel like I have to be sharing it so that someday I can find people or they can find me. Now I do it just as a way of spreading the hobby, educating. You know, if I'm out here every other week with you, Chuck, and with you, Matt, and we're just making sure that people are staying up on the news and trying to protect their own rights and our rights together, you know, that's something. But do I have to post flight videos?
Do I enjoy it? Hell yeah. Editing is part of the hobby for me. It's one of my favorite parts. But the other day, I took my Alien and I flew it without the GoPro or the mount on it. And I'm like, holy crap, I'm getting like 7 minutes. What is this? I've hit all the things already. I don't know what else to do, and I still have battery.
And I don't like how light mine is without it. Too punchy.
Well, you got one of those things you can pick your teeth with. A floss?
Oh.
I got one of those around here somewhere. It's got all 4 broken arms.
Yeah.
I used to. Do you guys fly? Do you guys fly freestyle? Like heavier stuff for freestyle, or do you like flying like the race builds and stuff like that that just have way too much power for freestyle?
Yeah, I like the heavy stuff.
Yeah, I have a reverb and I have an alien. And to go back to that something you were talking about earlier, Josh, with quality of parts. Now I know how you think about the way I spend on FPV, but I'll tell you what, man. Ever since I stopped using cheaper frames and I started buying the top of a line frame, I'm not breaking frames anymore. And I'm crashing just as hard, if not more often, which is fantastic.
I draw the line where you don't. You don't have a problem spending 100, 120 bucks on a frame. I can get the same quality carbon for 50 bucks. And I refuse to spend that exorbitant amount personally. But that's not saying that I want the Chinese carbon either, because I don't. I want the good carbon fiber. I haven't broken any of my stuff. I did crack an arm and I changed it, but it was still completely structurally integral. I just did it because it irritated me.
Yeah, the only thing that happens to me as of late is delaminating the ends of arms from crashing on concrete all the time.
Crashing? I drag my shit on the blacktop all the time. I'm the one delaminating it.
Exactly.
I'm delaminating everything, but it's more like slow chips off the ends, I guess. So I know Josh knows what I fly. He's heard me say it a million times. So I fly BQE frames. You can check them out at bqe.io. Strongest fucking frames I've ever flown. They make everything. You can buy like a 2-inch micro carbon fiber frame, strong as fuck. You can buy a 2.5-inch, a 3-inch. You get the 3 inches fuck, which is like one of the greatest things that people love that fucking thing. Then you can get like the 5 inches fuck, the skinny bitch, the Bot 5, the BQE 210. Like this, all of them are strong as all get out. They are the balls. Like I pile drive my stuff. I don't just not take care of my shit. I beat it into oblivion. Anything else would have snapped. And I haven't broken anything yet. And it's like, how the hell have I not broken anything?
That's what I was just thinking about my alien the past few days. Because man, I've been smashing it. Icky was right when he said that thing is phenomenal. But actually, Josh, I have been eyeballing that new floss that he got, the new floss style that he showed the other day.
I think I missed it.
Yeah,
Isn't it just a revision to his plates?
What's that?
I think it's just a revision to his plate design. Makes it easier to thread the what do you call it? The battery straps through.
Yeah. He came up with his own battery strap thing, so you actually have to buy his straps. But actually, I think it's a really cool idea for the strap. But he also made it individual arms again instead of boomerang.
Huh.
Oh, no kidding. He went back to individual arms?
Yeah, that's what he was saying.
How did I miss that?
I think it was either yesterday or the day before he posted it.
Oh, okay. All right.
But
yeah, I downloaded it, but I don't think I got all the way through it. I try to do my downloads ahead of time.
Now, what do you guys think about that? Oh God, what is it? The guys who made the America.
Oh, the Catalyst Machine Works, their new frame?
Yeah, what do you guys think about that being as slammed as it is?
I'm kind of opposed to slammed. I mean, all these frames that are good quality frames are obviously built for a purpose. So I think like a short stack like that would be good for like an Asgard or something like that. And then I mean those arms, that whole frame is just so thin, but it's got like all the structural integrity because it's also braced and it's done right.
It does look tough.
Yeah.
I was surprised. But I still have a hesitation with that battery being in the prop line. That just bugs the crap out of me. I know you could probably put some Lexan on your battery or something and not worry about it, but that's still.
I wouldn't even do that. I mean, I use 2 battery straps, so I'm a firm believer. There are some people that are big on Velcro. I like the silicone gel pads. I think they're stickier and they hold on better than Velcro, and they don't, because you know the loop on Velcro wears out after a while too. There you go. So
Right there.
I know what that's from, you and your phone holder.
Yeah, I know. I tore it off.
Yeah. But look, I use a gel pad, and then I use 2 battery straps to secure my shit. I don't eject batteries. My batteries don't move. I don't break straps because those combinations of things are caused by insecure batteries in some way. Well, I have mine plenty secured. Just not a problem.
Now, do you camp for your edges where your straps go? No? Because that's why I've torn up more straps than I think of any other reason. And now I chamfer all my top plates where the straps go.
Okay.
Problem solved.
Have you guys checked out the battery straps from Hot Dog FPV?
Yes.
Oh, yes.
Trust me, it will be the last. Buy like however many you need per quad, and then you'll never buy anything else again. I think they're $15 a piece, and they're nice and wide. They're just so good. I can't speak highly enough. And they're about all this stuff. Everything they make is quality. But those battery straps, where we're talking about it, those things are like fucking bomb proof.
Look, I am a firm believer. Like you guys have heard me say it. I'm a cheap bastard. Sometimes I have a problem coming to grips with spending more for anything. But I got that goggle strap, and it changed the way my goggles fit. Like all the little things that were annoying me, come to find out it's because of how they were sitting on my face, and I don't have a problem with it anymore. That battery strap, I think I'm going to end up getting 2, and they might well be the last 2 I ever buy because they're made of that seatbelt grade like nylon polyester stuff, and then they're using the Kevlar threading and the metal buckles on top of it.
Yep.
I'm gonna have to order me one because I'm about due. My strap's losing its elasticity. It's like my goggles aren't even comfortable anymore. And I want to get the damn the new padding that they put out for the HBO.
Bro, I'm telling you, they're onto something. When it comes to whatever you can think of that's fabric that deals with your quad or your gear, Hot Dog is the source. And what I love most about those straps, by the way, did you see where somebody called them battle straps?
Yeah. That was, I think, was that Kel?
I think so.
Yeah.
I'm still using my FPV noob tube straps. They're a collector's item.
I've given most of mine away, but
there's my my UFDA crew OGL strap.
Nice.
I love the 2-inch strap. So good.
Yeah, Chuck, when you go on their website, you can get us a customized design. You can do it one of 2 ways. So you can either pay them to do the design if you just send them some sort of mock-up, or you can do the design and upload it and save a little money. Or you can even save a little more, and instead of doing a custom design, you can pick a design, or you can just do like me and get a plain strap. But either way, I
got no problem doing designs.
Yeah, no, but either way, go Hot Dog. So guys, we got Garage in the chat. I invited him, guys, so he didn't just hack his way in here.
Hacker. We cannot hear you, Garage.
Gotta check your mic, bro. You got your mic muted? I don't know. Can you hear us?
Yeah,
you can hear us. Well, something with your mic is not working.
Yeah, select your mic in the gear settings up top.
Yeah, if you go to the top of the window here, where am I at? Go to the top of the window and hover. You'll see a settings gear. Open that up and find your microphone. Good call, Matt.
Yeah, once he jumps in, I'm going to wind up ducking out. I'm going to go watch some TV with the wife.
Okay, Neil, I appreciate you stopping in. You're always real good company, bro.
Oh, thanks, buddy. Thanks for having me. Oh, no problem.
Say what up to the crew for us.
Yeah, definitely will do. All right. Have a good night, guys.
All right, man. Catch you later, Gravy.
Later, guys.
All right, let's see, bro. Did you find your microphone up there?
Nope.
We'll take that as a no. So Chuck, while he's giving that a stab, what it is he was in the chat and he was stating that he's having a problem with something. And since we were just kind of flying by wire tonight, I said, well, you know what? If you can get in here, we'll help you troubleshoot it, you know? And actually, I think he asked, but I had also put out there, let's go ahead and get it troubleshot. And so we'll take a look at it and see what's going on, if he can figure out what's going on with his mic. It might be a combination of getting the mic volume turned up in Windows and also turning it on in you know, in the settings of the Hangout.
Are you on a computer or your phone? This is different on your phone. Is that phone? Yes.
You like how, like, as soon as we start making faces, we get quiet, like it matters?
Right?
Like when you're in a quiet area and you start whispering, even though there's no reason to whisper?
Yeah, we're doing like a live stream. We can't talk.
Yeah. Hey, look, it's the FPV Authority. What's going on? Man, we've had quite a few people pop in here tonight. It's been a good night.
I saw when I was in the chat earlier that we were getting some more people than normal, and that's great. Glad to have all you guys.
Yeah, I think most of them were hoping to see Icky, but Icky had to go save lives, so.
Yeah, they'll have to settle for us. The donut, brother.
Clickbait thumbnails.
Right? Yeah, well, guys, whenever we say we're gonna have Icky on, it's always gonna be a crapshoot because you know, the firefighter thing.
Oh, we got something. Keep going.
Yeah, I just plugged in a little external mic, and so I think I got everything working.
Breaking up bad for me.
It's breaking up real bad. You're super robotic. Like, we can't really make you out, but we are getting sound.
Let me figure this out.
You can do it, Garage.
After knowing what you've done, Chuck, if you can do it, anybody can do it.
Right?
It's still robotic.
Little better. Barely, though.
Better. Maybe
Like, I almost made out a word.
if I turn the volume down, does that change anything? Can you hear me?
We can sort of understand you, but I don't think we can carry on a conversation like that.
Yeah.
I guess.
Well, let's give it a shot. So, tell you what, go ahead and tell us what's going on, and we'll see if we can decipher it.
Type it in chat if you have to.
So let me try and figure the mic thing out. If you guys can delay for a second.
Adam says he blew the stream up. He's getting connections. Go Adam. Plummet FPV. Check out his channel, guys.
For real.
Like, I pretty much presented what Adam's, I would say almost his first video on the FPV YouTube channel. And to see how far he's come in the time that he's had is actually phenomenal. Actually, I respect him as a pilot now.
Now.
Well, I mean, he's not. Before he was doing like a flip and a roll in an empty field, and so yeah, I mean, I respect. I give him true respect as a pilot now. It's good stuff.
Yeah. No, Adam is much better than he gives himself credit for. he could actually afford to push himself a little more, much like you said to me a few weeks ago, and it sunk in. You're like, yeah, you got control, so what are you holding back? And one day I was sitting there and I'm like, all right, motherfucker.
Now, I was the opposite. I had no control, but I just pushed until I got it, and I'm finally getting it.
So that's what I've done. I've just kind of decided I'm going to let it fly a little bit harder, a little bit faster, but it makes it tough in some of the tighter places like my yard because there's just not the room to open up there. But once the weather clears and I can get outside again, like truly outside.
I heard a rumor that you actually raised your camera tilt.
Oh, I did at the Fun Fly, but I definitely had to. You haven't seen it yet, or not much of it, but I was doing some wing chasing. And that wing was doing all of 110 to 120 miles an hour because somebody out there had a radar gun. Now, I couldn't get anywhere near that fast because I'm just not running a setup that'll do it. But I cranked my camera angle up to 50 or 55 degrees and put some 51, 55s or something on there. Anyway, super pitch. And this thing was just humming.
Yeah, I've been using 50-50s lately on that Alien, and that's like a 2350 kV, I believe. 2306, 2350. So it's actually smaller than what I'm used to, kV-wise. And I'm using much higher props, and like my throttle resolution is psychotic. I never experienced anything like it. I think that's why I'm flying smoother than I ever have before.
Yeah, my motors are the 2300 grade. You know, when I bought those, I asked for the 26, but I ended up getting 23s. And I was like, well, that's fine. You know, I'll figure it out. And I actually come to prefer them because I do have a 2600 variant. And when I put them on, I don't have the same amount of like fine resolution, but I can always get more speed and they actually have better torque too. So they're able to spin up the props better. I actually really like the 2300 variant.
Look at what I got. These are they're worth every freaking cent of that 34, 32 bucks or whatever the crazy price is. These things are 1500. They are the same exact size as my Adrenaline 1300 80Cs, and this is 100C HV. Phenomenal battery. Worth every cent, guys.
So, Chuck, do you notice a difference between those and the Thunder Power Adrenalines?
Absolutely.
How?
Well, first of all, I get a longer flight, and I can abuse it just as hard.
Okay.
And the way I've had HV explained to me before is basically you get one extra punch in the beginning. That's what it gives you.
Okay. So you're not noticing more power per se. You're just noticing
longevity and I can abuse it harder.
Okay.
I'm loving them, and they're like they're like the lightest 4-cell battery on the market.
That's the big thing that Thunder Power has really brought in. You know, there's way too many battery manufacturers and options out there, but none of them get as small as the Thunder Powers.
I don't know how they're doing it. I mean, it's freaking amazing. I got it and I pulled it out and I'm like, dude, it's the same exact size as a battery it's a 1300 compared to a 15. And I'm pretty damn sure, I haven't gotten a scale yet, but I'm pretty sure the weight is equal. I don't know how they do that. I mean, I'm sure it's just all chemical. Well, you're back again, Garage, but you're still you still sound like a robot. I don't know what's going on.
He's trying. He's using that Bluetooth microphone, and I'm thinking he's too far away to get a good signal because I have the same problem with mine.
No, it is a cord.
Oh, it is a cord.
Yeah. Right now I'm using the internal microphone. I've tried this one cord and I've tried a third option, and all three of them sound bad.
Well, I'll say this. Your microphone is fucked, but I can understand you.
Barely.
Okay, well, I've tried 3 different options, so I don't know at this point. If you can understand me, though, maybe we can make this happen.
Shoot.
What do you got?
The stage is yours.
So,
Just speak slowly and loudly.
so I just built this quad here, and everything is working on it. The flight controller shows up in beta flight, but when I plug in the battery, I hear no tones from the motors.
Okay, so the first thing you need to check is your signal wires, because what's happening when you plug in your quad, as long as you are getting power LEDs on the flight controller, what it's going to do is send an initialization command to the ESCs. And so if you're not getting those tones, it means the ESCs are not initializing.
And my impression was that the first 2 tones were the ESCs powering up, and then the second 2 tones were them recognizing the flight controller and initializing.
Oh, right. So you're not even getting the power tones?
Yeah, no, I'm not getting the power tone.
Do you have a multimeter?
Yes, and so I'm running power. The power to my flight controller is coming out from the pigtail on my ESCs, so I'm definitely getting power through my ESCs. And so my thought is, does that mean that the ESC is probably just broken?
Now, I don't know anything about beta flight, mind you, but are you sure that you got all the right whatchamacallit, the versions of software on the SE? The BLL?
It doesn't even show up in BLL configurator, so I've tried to open that up and do the steps where first you make sure that beta flight configurator is open but not connected. Then you connect in BLL configurator, and then you plug your batteries in and power it. But since my ESCs don't seem to be getting power, I think that's why they're not showing up in BLL configurator.
Are you running a power distribution board, or are you running an all-in-one flight controller?
I'm running the power straight to this 4-in-1 ESC. It's the Typhoon 32 4-in-1 ESC.
Okay.
And so my power is going straight into there from my Lego. And I know I'm getting power through there because everything else is powering up, which is weird because I'm running the power out from the pigtail of the ESC. I'm using the ESC as my power distribution board, and it's working for that. And I mean, my thought was like, maybe if I have the motor wires wired up wrong, then because the noises come from the motors, not the ESC itself. It's the ESC moving the motors to make the tones correct.
That could be, except that you actually can't wire the motors wrong, because those wires, those 3 wires, can be in any configuration.
Yeah, as long as they're connected, they're definitely connected. And I would think that as long as at least one of them is connected, then you get sounds from one of them.
Yeah,
Now,
if
hold
you
on.
hold the motor, or if you're able to like hold the motor when you plug it in, do you feel any vibration whatsoever?
Okay, let me plug it in for you guys.
Here comes the fire.
Boom!
So we've got
Open that up.
power on the flight controller. My receiver's getting power. I've checked my camera and my VTX, and I'm getting power and signal through there. But no noises or anything from the
Do you have another 4-in-1?
Not yet. I've got one coming. I ordered one.
Yeah, okay. I was going to say, try swapping it.
Yeah, I don't think that there's anything else I can do troubleshooting-wise on this. I mean, I figured I'd check with people with more experience because this is my first build, and so I really just don't have the experience.
Get one of these.
This guy is goddamn
Sorry, I got no help for you. I'm a kiss boy.
Well, it doesn't matter. I mean, from a hardware perspective, it's all the same thing, and your thinking is right. So I missed you when you said you didn't even get the power on tones. It could be that the positive pad has come loose from that plane, meaning that You're soldered to it, but it's not connected. Something under that PCB is broken. I don't know, but you get the 5 volt. I know.
I'm getting voltage out the other end because that's what's powering everything else. It's the weird part.
So if you have a multimeter, you can put it in continuity mode, or even actually put it in voltage measuring mode. Are you getting measurements at the different places?
Yeah, I'm getting my full battery voltage. So on this pigtail, I've got my signal wires on. That would be your right side, and then the power wires on the left side, and the power wires from this JST connector, or what I have powering my flight controller. And I've tested the power coming out of there, and I've got battery voltage coming out of there.
All right. I see a quad behind you that has motors. If you don't have a spare motor, you don't need 4. Just take 1. And it doesn't even have to be able to go all the way out on the arm. You're not screwing it in. Solder 1 motor up and see if it fires up when you plug it in.
Solder a different motor than the ones I have on here.
Yeah, just unsolder one of the existing motors. You can leave it screwed in and just solder the other one on to the motor leads on the ESC and just see if something's wrong with your motors. Because if you get 1 motor to fire up, then you might have a problem with that batch of motors.
I mean, that just seems really weird.
It does, but
it seems like it would make more sense to me. As weird as this whole situation is, having a faulty 4-in-1 ESC board just seems more likely than 4 faulty motors, especially due to the complexity in ESC compared to like a motor is just so simple.
Quick question though. We're going to go even more simple than that. Have you tried reflowing your solders? Because that would be the first thing I would do. And if that doesn't work, check each motor with a different motor. And if that doesn't work, you're down to the ESCs.
Yeah, because that's where I'm at right now, guys, is to me, there's either a break. So when you go, if you were to tear that PCB apart into the different layers, one of those is ground and another one is the power. But that power connects at multiple points for different things, meaning there is a trace that goes to the 5-volt regulator, but there's also the traces that go full power to the battery. It's almost like just an extension of the power wire. And one of those could be broken. Now, what are the chances of it happening? In my mind, it should be damn near impossible. And it's either that I've ordered 6 motors before, and 3 of them been dead. So, do I find it impossible that you could have gotten 4 bad motors? No. And that's why I said just try taking any motor, even if you have a spare one sitting around that doesn't have any brothers or sisters, and just solder it on. You're not going to run it that way. You're just looking at when you plug it in, do you get tones? If you get tones, you just figured out that your ESC is okay and that your motors are the problem.
All right. Now, Garage, are you on the FPV Noob Tube Facebook group?
No, I'll join that Facebook group.
Definitely join. We'll get somebody to let you in right away. And put a post up, man, because we have a ridiculous amount of people with knowledge in there, and there's never judgments, so you should get help right quick. If anything, we'll get Tom.
We pride ourselves on in the community is how helpful it is.
Yeah, and if anything, we'll get Tom Moore on the damn case.
Well,
He's an electrical wizard.
He definitely gave me some good places to start, like reflow my solder joints, solder another motor on there. The soldering another motor is, I guess, really the way to determine if it's like the motors or the ESC. Because I guess I haven't really eliminated the possibility of this, the motors. I just assumed that since I got 4 of them, one of the 4 had to be good.
Test all 4 of them too. I mean, if it doesn't work on one, try all of them just to see if you get any response whatsoever. And if you don't, if you don't get that response, your problem lies farther within.
This one I kind of bent the bell housing on this front motor, and so I need to desolder that motor. I've got another one coming in from China for this, and so with the bent bell housing, it'll definitely like twitch and give me the ESC sounds. And I know that this one
Yeah, at least we got a place to start, man. That's cool.
And Joe Ford in the chat says to make sure, just go over everything with a fine-tooth comb and make sure you don't have any solder bridges spanning pads that could be shorting something out even in a minor way.
I've done that before.
I connected everything with my continuity with my multimeter in continuity mode, and I checked to make sure I had continuity everywhere I should, and I didn't have continuity anywhere where I shouldn't.
Okay.
I fried the last flight controller that I tried to hook up.
Okay.
Just not wiring right at the end.
Yeah, gotcha.
No. Real quick, those that ESC, you said it's a plug and play direct connect to your FC.
Yeah.
Okay, now I don't know if beta's this way, but I've blown up a number of $72 KISS V2 FCs by hooking the power wire up wrong.
Yeah, no, so
well, sometimes the wires and the pigtails don't come in the right order, and you have to move them around.
Yes.
Oh no, yeah, no, actually, it's supposed to be plug and play, but I've got it hooked up to an omnibus F4, and not whatever the plug is supposed to be for. So
I'll tell you what though, the one thing I always do now, since I learned that, on a $200 or $300 lesson that I learned, is that I download all the pinouts and I trace where each wire goes to each wire and make sure each one is correct before I plug anything in.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, after burning the last flight controller, before I plugged anything into this one, I had all of the pinouts in front of me and made sure that it was all wired up correctly. Which was part of why I was so stunned when I just heard no power up noise.
Joe Ford also says, and I've done this myself, but I've never had it cause the motors to completely malfunction. Make sure your motor screws are not coming all the way up into the coils.
Oh yeah.
I already checked that.
Good deal.
All right. Well, by process of elimination, we've come down to try the motors.
Options, and I'm at the point where I've kind of decided that this 4-in-1 is just broken and I need another one.
That is a possibility.
Yeah. I mean, my first step was to assume that I wired something up wrong, because that seemed like a much more likely possibility. But after checking that 5 times in multiple different ways, you start to wonder.
Yeah, but usually you get some telltale signs, like you get fires or smoke or something.
Usually.
Very rarely will you.
Weirder things have happened.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely. We'll get you Josh, put in the chat forum or something the link to the Facebook group, and we'll get him in there.
I already added him against his will.
Oh, okay, good. And we'll get a bunch of people on the case for you.
Yeah.
Sweet. Well, I'm gonna get this figured out. I've already got another 4-in-1 on the way, and I've got other motors that work. And so I guess it's gonna come to. I guess I've done all of the troubleshooting, through programming and stuff, short of taking this whole build apart and going back to it. But that's the step that I'm at now.
Yeah.
And as soon as I get my other 4-in-1 here, then I'll have another motor, another 4-in-1. I can just swap things out until I find where the problem is.
And another
points, that's just what you gotta do.
And another thing you could actually do test in the reverse way is take each one of those motors and put it on that quad over there that works, and see if those motors work on that quad.
That is another good way to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, the troubleshooting components goes in both directions, and unfortunately, there's not enough of a framework to really be able to get a lot of output, unless it's like KISS, where you get different LEDs on all the different components. On Betaflight, we don't normally have that, so we don't really know.
Yeah.
That's why you should fly KISS. Come on.
KISS is touchy like a PMS and bitch. I don't have time for that.
Shoot, I haven't had no problem since Texas, brother. None.
Good. That's good.
And I've been smashing it way harder than normal.
Nice. Yeah, you've been putting some good footy up.
Thank you. I think I have that. I think I have that alien about where I want it. I need to change a few things in the rates a little more, but I think it's pretty good so far.
So Garage, what's your YouTube? You sporting anything? If so, throw it up in chat, man.
Yeah, Garage TV is my YouTube.
Okay.
Check it out. I've got a couple of videos. I don't have any videos for my 5-inch yet. So I just started flying quads like a month ago. And I've been a little scared to strap my GoPro to my 5-inch. I wanted to get my first several rounds of crashes out without the GoPro. And
yeah. No, that's smart.
This one's currently not working because I was slaloming through some metal holes and hit one of the metal holes.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with DVR, brother.
Well, look, we're going to keep an eye on you then, because look, Chuck does the series called The Noob Crew, and he likes to take a member of the community. You send him some flight footage that you're happy enough with. He puts it into an edit and he shares it on the FPV Noob Tube. It's great for networking. It kind of puts your name out there. We all kind of start subscribing to each other's channels, and then we kind of get to watch people grow too. We were just talking earlier that one of our kind of core team goes way back, almost 2 years. He was one of the very first Noob Crew episodes, and seeing how much he's changed between then and now is really neat to see.
Yeah, I made
my DVR footage up because it's just me like wobbling. I've really just been working on a lot of low and slow stuff because I figure if I can get like flying slow and steadily down, then everything else is just going to come a lot easier.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I told Adam to go back and watch his video again and see how much how he's done. I haven't heard what he said yet, but I'll ask him.
I've got some tiny whoop footage that I've got up on my YouTube channel though from flying around in my garage. I'm pretty happy with that. I've gotten relatively decent with the tiny whoop, and man, not wanting to fly in self-level mode, I feel like you might be missing out on something. Like, there's a lot of fun to be had with self-level mode. The one thing that comes to mind in particular is that when you bump into things in self-level mode, it straightens you out for you. And so when you're flying inside through tiny little gaps and stuff, you can bump into them in self-level mode and just roll right through it.
Well, let me put this little worm in your brain. Self-level mode is you fighting your flight controller. It's a fight between you and it for control. You already know what I'm talking about, huh?
Oh yeah, I can totally see that. Outdoor, I think I prefer acro mode outdoor. If I've got space to work with, acro seems to be the way to go. And I don't know, I've listened, I've been watching a lot of stuff on Tiny Whoops, and Jesse Perkins is a really big fan of big advocate of self-level mode. And so with as many people in the Tiny Whoop community saying self-level mode is the way to go, I haven't felt the need to particularly push myself my 5 inches. I don't want to fly these in self-level mode like ever. I have them on a switch in case I but I've never even used the switch. I'll usually try and catch it and then get my kill switch before I hit the ground before I turn back to self-level mode.
Yeah. And for me, just because I'm so much more comfortable in acro, I was not enjoying the whoop at all. And the second I put it in acro mode and got a proper tune on it, it all came together for me.
Yeah, it's totally different for me because I didn't know how to learn how to fly acro mode. My actual first acro mode experience was on my Tiny Whoop. I learned how to fly acro on my Tiny Whoop before I ever touched the 5-inch.
Nice.
Well, you actually went the smart way about it.
What's going on, Joe Stan FPV?
Joey.
Hello.
Well, you know what?
Yeah, keep us up to date on how that's going with your troubleshooting. We'll definitely give you a hand, everywhere we can. And I'm going to drop the name again. Like Chuck said, we got a guy that goes by the name of Tom Mohr, M-O-H-R. He is an electronics guy by trade, but in some secret level that we don't ask about. So he is our #1 helper in the entire group of over 2,000 people.
I mean, I'm down to look out the pinout from my processor and go in and start touching processor rails with my continuity checker if I need to. Like, I want to find out what's wrong with this thing.
I got you.
And I gotta say, man, you're having all these troubles right in the beginning of the hobby for yourself. Your attitude is phenomenal. I can tell that a year from now, you're going to be ripping freaking balls nonstop.
I've heard a lot of people suggest to build your quad for your first one, and I'm really glad I got a bind and fly, because this got me the bug, and it's like really taught me like, oh, I need to fly. I just need to get back in the air. And so without that experience with this one, I don't think I'd be so determined to get this one flying.
And I guarantee you that anyone who has ever told you that, their first quad was probably a bind and fly. All of us.
OG Wizard, baby.
That's right. Shout out Josh Ketchum.
All right, guys. Well, look, I'm making the call. We're going to shut this thing down. We've been on here 2 hours. We've had some awesome conversation. I really enjoy and appreciate you being willing to jump on here, Garage. We had old Gravy Leg on here. He's always a hoot. And Chuck, I'm really glad that you were able to get on too, man.
Hell yeah.
I got work in the morning, so keep in mind that Hump Day comes every other Wednesday. So next Wednesday will not air. The Wednesday after we will. We'll have another guest on. And Garage, can you mute your microphone?
Yeah, thank you guys so much, and I'll get a better mic for next time.
No problem, man.
Hey, and for everybody that actually caught it the first time, next live stream, I will be doing shit that probably happened.
Chuck's own segment.
If you don't know what that is, you'll find out.
Well, then you go watch the last episode of Hump Day, right?
No, the one before. The last one was the one you were gone and I was hosting.
Yeah. Tune in another 2 weeks for the next Hump Day. As always, guys, fly safe, be happy, and happy crashing.
Peace out.